Welcome back, everyone, to our Eyewitness News special report tonight, coronavirus in Connecticut. This hour, we are tackling several different topics. One of them, groceries. Will you be able to get what you need if this drags on for another month or even another 2 months? We are getting good information on that tonight. We are also talking about local businesses fighting to stay alive right now. And then it's on to policing. How has the health crisis changed how police officers operate all throughout the state? And we're also talking about your town's emergency management team. What is their role? How will they help you get through this? But right now, we want to continue the conversation about education that Aaron started a few minutes ago, this time on the college level. Universities in our state have turned to electronic learning to finish out the rest of the spring semester, and graduations for the class of 2020 have been canceled. Joining us right now via Skype is Mark Ojakian, the president of the Connecticut State Colleges and Universities System, also overseeing the state's community colleges and universities, including Southern, Central, WestCon, and Eastern. Mark, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to be here.
You know, let me ask you first, we have a lot to talk about, but I want to ask you, where do things stand right now? I know it's been a rough few weeks for you, for the whole department, as well as the students. How many students were sent home to finish up the year?
Well, everybody that went on spring break, we have 85,000 students in our system in credit-bearing programs and another 50 in non-credit-bearing. So people left campus going on spring break, and none will return on Monday. We have residential students who will be allowed to come back and pick up their belongings, but they were told when they left to take whatever they needed for the next couple of weeks, because the original plan was to go fully online for 2 weeks. And then it became apparent that this health crisis was going to continue well beyond that time period. And so starting Monday through the end of the semester, all of our students will be taking online classes.
Can I ask you, at what point did you realize, looking back, that this was turning into something that looked like students would not come back? I imagine even in the beginning, it's like, okay, this is going to be something we'll have to deal with. And then all of a sudden, maybe you're in a meeting or you're starting to look at information or talk with the governor and say, oh my goodness, we're not going to come back from this year.
Well, I think we had always thought that this would not be a short-term situation, but we wanted to assess the situation in a very prudent manner. We are also part of the governor's emergency response team. And being on those calls every day, you understood really the severity of this health crisis and also the length at which it will continue. So we had to make the decision earlier in the week to go fully online, and also to cancel the May commencement ceremonies.
Let me ask you about that, because I think that was probably one of the more, I'm assuming, one of the more challenging decisions for you. What was it like delivering that news?
Well, it was not a very pleasant exercise delivering that news. I've been honored to lead this system for 5 years and have been to at least 60 to 70 commencements over that time period. To see the pride in the students as they walk across the stage and the pride of their families in the audience really is second to none. So to have to consider canceling the May in-person commencements was very, very difficult. But as you can imagine, being in the XL Center with 15,000 people in the audience and 1,500 graduates with faculty and staff just was not a safe environment for folks to be in. Our priority's always been to make sure our students, our faculty, and our staff are healthy and are safe. Our second priority was to make sure that all of our classes could be delivered online beginning Monday. That's all been accomplished. And so now we need to go to the next phase of this and figure out, how long is this going to last? What are we going to do over the summer? What are we going to do in the fall? This is a health crisis that we never thought we would see, and now we're living it every single day.
Before I get to what's going to happen come Monday for students and faculty, I do want to ask you, because we're seeing situations across the country where some students are trying to start petitions and do things that maybe a graduation ceremony gets rescheduled. Maybe it's something that happens in July or August when things are better. Is that realistic in any way?
Well, I think what's realistic is to find some alternative ways to, in the short term, celebrate the fact that you are graduating from a high quality institution in Connecticut, and then look at ways to possibly reschedule it in the fall or in the winter. The important thing is that a student graduate, get the credentials they need in order to be able to go on to graduate school or to get a job. So we're in the process of working with all of our campuses to determine, is there something we can do in the short term to celebrate the accomplishments of our great students, and then perhaps reschedule a more formal commencement for some time in the future. All we said really was that the May in-person commencements would not happen this year.
I would imagine it's a situation where you just have to, it's almost a domino effect. It's decision after decision as everyone tries to figure out what's going on here.
Well, it's a very fluid situation, and everybody needs to be flexible. I will say our faculty, staff, and administrators have really stepped up to the plate as they always do. We have been able to turn around our in-class instruction to online in a very short period of time, with everybody working tirelessly to make it happen. There's going to be some bumps in the road as we roll this out. That's to be expected. Every day there's another issue that we encounter, especially around making sure we can advise students properly, we can counsel them properly, and we can continue to get them the wraparound services like mental health counseling that they need virtually as opposed to in person.
Yeah, that's a very good point right there. So this all starts Monday. Obviously, they won't be in the classrooms learning.
Correct.
They'll be home or wherever they're taking these classes and this
Correct.
instruction. What does that involve? And will the grading system change at all? Will professors perhaps go a little easier on them considering the circumstances?
Well, I can't talk about what
Yeah.
professors will or will not do. We're taking a look at some creative options for grading students. We're taking a look at what happens if we have to extend the semester. We're working with our federal partners. I know Senator Blumenthal and Murphy were on earlier. We're working with them to get some regulatory relief from the federal government around benefits for our veterans, and to make sure that all of our employment and training opportunities continue past the normal end of the semester. There's a great deal of work that needs to continue day by day by day. My team, working with all of the universities and colleges, meet and talk every day, 5, 6, 7 times a day. It's like managing the emergency operations center that the governor manages for a higher education system.
I would assume it's important to note the quality. You would say the quality of the education and the level of the degree does not change because of what's changing over the next few months?
Correct. Absolutely correct. You get the same instruction, the same professor, and you get it online instead of in the classroom. The degree will be the same. It will have the same credentialing. It will have the same ability to move you into graduate school or to gainful employment or a career that you're looking to do. So that will not change at all. And students, I want to thank you for being so flexible in meeting the healthcare crisis and coming to the realization that we're going to have to do this online. The same thing with faculty. This has been a collaborative effort, but it's really been led on the front lines by our faculty and the willingness of our students to adapt to a new normal.
A situation like this can surely bring out the best in people, that's for sure. Mark, is there an opportunity for students to get some money back? I know parents, pay for housing, things like that. What happens there?
Absolutely. Those students who have paid for a full year of room and board, of course, are entitled to a refund. And we're in the process right now of determining how that will be calculated, what the process is for refunding that to students and their families, and what the appropriate protocols need to be in place, in order to do that. As I said before, our first priority was our health and safety of our students and everybody else on campus. And now that we'll be going online on Monday, we should have some guidance to students and their families in the very near future. But absolutely, they will be receiving a refund on their room and board fees.
I have to ask you, obviously we work here in a newsroom and we're covering this every day, and you're right there making decisions involving tens of thousands of students and families in the state every day. I find myself pausing at times thinking about what's going on here, and you almost have to take a deep breath and say, my goodness, the magnitude of what's playing out here, it can be a lot at times. How is this impacting the people who work for you? Even for you, do you find yourself sitting there at times thinking, never in my life could I have imagined anything like this?
Well, to be honest with you, Mark, before I had this role, you may know I was the Governor Malloy's chief of staff for 4 years and had to manage some very difficult situations around blizzards, tropical storms, hurricanes, and the shooting of those innocent children at Sandy Hook. So when a crisis presents itself, my nature is just to try to rise to the occasion and surround myself with an incredible group of men and women that work tirelessly as part of an overall emergency response. The administrators, the faculty and staff on campus have been incredible. I have an incredible senior team that works every single day right now to make sure that the impact on students is mitigated and that we can continue to offer the high quality, rigorous academic education to all of our students.
Okay, Mark Ojakian, I cannot thank you enough for joining us tonight to talk about this and spend several minutes. Obviously, a big week coming up for yourself, not to mention all the students here in Connecticut, and I think we all wish them the best coming up on Monday.
No, I certainly wish them the best, and I want them to stay healthy and stay safe and continue to go online and learn.
Absolutely. Mark, thank you very much. We appreciate it, sir. Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you.